First of all, in the name of everybody, we roll out the red carpet of welcome to Baruch Ian. I'm glad your family found the address of the shul, and he actually drove a long way to get here today. And it's good to see you, it really is. Welcome in my son-in-law, David. It's good to have you here. So we are holding in the fifth parak of Idiyos with Mishna Vav and Mishna Zayin. We're sponsored by the Fisher family, the Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We're also sponsored by Nishmas David ben Chaim, L'Refu Shalem Rafel Yomis Mechai Sarah, Yaakov ben Basi Leah, and the Schus of Avram ben Yam ben Ishmael Malki Hudis. We learn, sponsored by Yoel Klugman and family, and also L'Refu Shalem from Moshe ben Esther Fadel, Rivka Bashira Leah, Dvar Bas Shashabina, Vigdoraya ben Rivka, and Meir ben Chai Sarah. They should have a L'Refu Shalem B'Seich Shachar Yisrael. Akavya ben Malalel Hayed Arba Devarim testified about four things. Now in this he was in dispute with the majority of the Rabbanan of his time, but he had it from his Rebbeim, who were at that time the majority. So Amrullah, they made him a big offer. Akavya Chazar B'cha Ba'arba Devarim Sheyisi Aimer, retract the position on these four cases, be consistent with us. The Nas Av Bezdin Yisrael will make you the Av Bezdin. That's the second highest position, the second position to the Nasi. Amalahen, so he said to them, Mutav Lili Kare Shaita Kol Yamai. It's preferable that they should call me a fool all my life. Volole Ase Shah Achas Rasha Lifnei Amakim. Rather than I look wicked for a moment before Hashem. Shelo Ya'imrim, that people shouldn't say I was motivated by a high position. B'shvil srara chazaba. You know, he wanted to keep his guns, but for high position, he backed down. What were the four areas? Hu hayamitame sa'ar hapekuda. He held that a person could become a mitzvah. The thing is, if there's a white spot, and the white spot is followed by a white hair, so then that's a sign of tzaras. Now, there was a tzaras that had already a white hair, and then the tzaras healed. And in that spot, another white spot grew. So this was a deposited white hair. So he held that that's a sign of tumah. The Rabbanan say no. It's only if the white hair was caused by the tzaras. And here the white hair existed before the tzaras. The other thing is dam hayorok. Dam hayorok means yellowish blood, deep yellowish blood. If it says yorok crazy, that's green. Yorok like a leek, that's green. Yorok plain, that's a deep yellow, like the yolk of an egg. So he held that they're tameh, and that she's a nida if she has this yellowish blood. The Chacham say if it's a deposited white hair that existed before the new tzaras, and the yellowish blood is tar. Here you have a bechar that was blemished. Now, bechar that's blemished, you're not allowed to work with it. You're not allowed to shear its wool. What happened is some wool fell off by itself. He took that hair, he kept it by the window for safekeeping, and then he slaughtered the balmum, and he wanted to now retroactively use the hair. He didn't cut it off, it came off by itself. So he held that it was mutter, but the Chacham aser it, because of course you're not allowed to shear the wool, and they didn't want to use even that which came off by itself, because somebody might keep a balmum around, hoping that a lot will come off, and then they might come to work with it, and they might come to shear its wool. The fourth halacha is hu haya omer ein mashkin lo yasa giyaris v'lo yasa shifcha meshuchreres. If a woman was a giyaris, or an emancipated slave woman, that now is like a Bas Yisrael because she was emancipated, and she was married, and she flirted, and the husband warned her, so he would say that she can't have a din of a soita that gets the drink, because the pasuk says, "L'olalu shvua b'soich amecha," for a curse and an oath amongst your people, and she's not considered amongst your people because she was a giyaris or meshachreres. The chachamim aimim mashkin. The chachamim say that we do give her to drink the water of the site. Amrulai, and they tried to prove to Akavi ben Malala that we give such a woman a drink, because Maisa bekarkamis, there was a Maisa with a karkamis, was Shifcha Meshachreres, that was a emancipated slave woman, Sha'isa b'Yerushalayim, that was in Yerushalayim, v'yishkua Shmayev Avtalion, and Shmayev Avtalion gave her the Mei Amorim to drink. So you see that it does apply. Amar Lahem, he said to them, Dugma Hishkua, they gave like themselves to drink, since they are Gerim, from Gerim, Shmayev Avtalion, so therefore they gave like themselves to drink. V'niduhu, they excommunicated Akavi ben Malala, Omeis b'niduyai, and he died having refused to back out off from his position. He died in his excommunicated state. V'saklu bezdin es araynai, and in an act of disgrace, they put a big stone on his coffin. Rabbi Yehuda says, no way. Chas v'shalom she'akavia nisnada. God forbid that Akavia was put in nidui. She'ein azarin nirnelis b'fnei kol adam Yisrael. The temple courtyard never shut on anyone in Yisrael with the caliber b'chachma b'yiras chet, with wisdom and fear of sin, ka'Akavia ben Malala. Rather, when he said kedugma hishkua, he meant that he wasn't chas v'shalom belittling the Gedolei Adar Shmayev Avtalion, but what he meant is that they didn't give her really the water, the bitter waters. They gave her other waters, a placebo, to try to scare her to confess. Vesmi didu, but there was a tradition that someone was excommunicated. Elazar ben Chanoich. They excommunicated Elazar ben Chanoich shepikpek b'taras yadayim, because he questioned the need of netilas yadayim for someone whose body was tar and his hands were tamei. That's a divrei rabbanon, and he questioned that, and therefore they excommunicated him. Ukishemeis, and when he died, sholchu bezdin v'nichu even al araynai, they put a stone on his aron. Malamed shekalam in isnado meis b'niduya, whoever is excommunicated and dies in excommunication, cyclin as araynai. They put a big stone on his coffin. Now, when Akavia ben Malala was passing away, b'shas misasai, at the time of his death, Amar Livnai, he told his son, B'ni, Chazer b'cha ba'arba dvam shahayisi aimer. You should retract from the 4 positions that I took. There's no Indian over here of minig aviseinu b'yadeinu. Amaloi v'lamaloi chazar tavach. He said, why am I different than you, Tati? Amaloi ani shamati b'fi merubim. I heard it from my rebbeim, who are the majority. V'heim shamu m'pi merubim. And they, the contemporary rabbanim, they hear it from what they see as their majority. Ani amadati b'shmuasi. I stayed with my position. V'heim amdu b'shmuasan. And they stayed correctly with their position. Aval ata, but you, shamata mipi hayachid, you heard it from me, I'm only an individual, or mipi merubim, and you also hear it from the think tank of the sages, which is the majority. Mutav laniach divrei hayachid, you should set aside the words of the individual, v'lecha is b'divrei merubim, and to take the words of the majority. Amalai, so he said to his father, Abba, put in a good word for me with your colleagues. I'm afraid that, they might look at me because of the history here. So Amalai eini mefaked. I'm not going to put in a good word for you. Pull doesn't apply over here. Amalai, so his son said, Shema avla matzasabi. Maybe you found some thing wrong with me that you don't want to put in a good word. Amalai lav. But maasecha yukarvucha or maasecha yirachakucha. I want your actions to speak for you. Your actions will either bring you close, these sages are fair people, or it'll distance you. You should get in with your own merit. Okay, so a few things. After Ma'ariv, anybody wants to do Mechiras Chametz could do so. Tonight, we start at 8:15, Masechtas Makkos. Come early that you should get a good seat. Masechtas Makkos tonight at 8:15. You start now, a little bit after Pesach, you'll be finished the Masechta. It's really a great time to learn a Masechta. 23 blot. Mamish, it's a Masechta month club. Also, tomorrow night, there'll be a special Haggadah here in the shul, around 9 o'clock, 9:15. There'll be a Haggadah here in the shul, and everybody is welcome to join. Thursday morning, Chakra 7:30, followed around 9:15. I'll be making a siyum on Masechta Sanhedrin.
That's very late.
What?
This davening can be over closer to 8:30.
What?
The davening 7:30, davening is going to be closer to 8:30.
8:30 siyum. Okay. 8:30 siyum. The davening is an hour?
Yeah, it's raining, so...
Yeah, but there's no talking.
Okay, except 5 minutes, 50, Okay. 9:15. Oh, no. 7:30 to 8:15 or 9:15? Rav said 9:15.
9:15? I did?
Yeah, you did.
I guess it was wishful thinking. I meant 8:15. I made it 8:15. That time in the morning sounds to me like 8:15 in Yetz Hashem, and the siyum will be given by the Zell family, and I'll be making the siyum. It will be on Zoom for people that are homebound and cannot get out, so I will be putting that on Zoom as well. If anybody wants, if there's a Bechorah who wants to watch, the Shitas Agud is that Bechorah has to listen to a siyum, so if there's a Bechorah that wants to hear the siyum, they could also hear it on Zoom. What else? Oh yes, the Daf Yomi Thursday night. Daf Yomi Thursday night, because the Bedika is an hour later at 9:15. Daf Yomi Thursday night at 9:15.